Hello, this is your pal Sophie here with another edition of what most of you know as our LinkedIn and chill time. But we are now streaming to Rumble. So, hello, Rumble. That is, I learned recently. I didn't even know this existed a few weeks ago, but it's a very alt-right or right-wing space, and so wanted to include it in where we send our little videos out to, little daily videos out to, just because, I wanted to make sure that I'm not missing anybody in our efforts to try and come together and bring unity into this world with what we do every day. Our efforts are normally around talking about sex and sexuality, but ever since the election, there's been so much contention. So I wanted to make sure that we are in every space that we can to try to understand this together and come together. So that's why I'm really glad to be here. I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest, but just so you're aware, if you are new to me and what I'm doing here, basically, I leave this space open for people to call in. I'll go ahead and put up the screen so you can see the number if you'd like to give me a buzz. This is my daughter, Day, and we just like to, again, leave this space open for people to chat with us. I'm not a debater. I am not one to try and have an argument with you. I'm very non-confrontational. But I'll admit, I tried to dabble into more right-wing spaces recently, even before the election concluded, just to try to understand that thinking. I voted for Kamala Harris. I'm not a Democrat. I'm unaffiliated, but I'm very left thinking and very, I'd say pretty liberal, quite liberal in some regards. And so, I think, when the election did occur, things didn't go the way that I wanted, or I think a lot of people wanted. I think there was a lot of anger and upset and fear, and I just didn't feel right, thinking that way about half the country. So, that's why, again, I just wanted to come into what I feel like is perhaps a very walled-off, sheltered, siloed kind of a space, and just offer my services as somebody to speak with if you have questions about left-wing ideology or, why people like me vote the way that we did, because I certainly have questions about why people who voted for Trump voted the way that they did. So, very much looking forward to having some conversations and chit chats about it, and hopefully, again, trying to understand why things didn't go our way. When, in my mind, again, as a left wing or leftist person, it seems like that would have been the optimal route for everybody. So yeah, just if you feel so inclined, feel free to call in to the number on your screen. And as I wait for people to reach out, I do my little daily LinkedIn puzzles and just kind of chit chat about a topic. Again, normally the topic's about sex or sexuality related things, but again, lately we're just kind of diving into the political sphere and just kind of having conversations in that regard, which have been really great. So yeah, let's kind of talk about today's daily topic as we wait for callers. I wanted to just kind of get into my thoughts and thinking on some of Trump's claims and just to investigate perhaps where they are today, why they are today, where they might be in the future. For instance, I was really curious about the election rigging claims and how 2020 was supposedly stolen, but then I'm wondering what the implications for his win are in that regard. Like, does it mean that, there wasn't any foul play, or is he feeling vindicated and certain now that there wasn't any foul play? Because, obviously, if Democrats or liberals were going to rig it, they would have done it again, and or they would have pulled the same tricks, and that obviously didn't happen. Or is Donald Trump going to say, well, look, see, I got all of these votes, I did win 2024, so that means that I should have won in 2020, and so that is it now more proof that things supposedly were, foul play, despite the fact that there is literally no evidence of that. Sorry, guys. So I just really want to dig into that if you have thoughts, or if you have, a different way of thinking on it. I, for one, feel like it should assuage him. I feel like, okay, you won the popular vote and the Electoral College. Like, that should be, the proof that the system works. The system worked then and it worked now, because there have been no significant changes since, the last 4 years, apart from less mail-in voting, less, I'd even say absentee voting, because we're, no longer in a global pandemic. So, yeah, I'm interested to know your thoughts. Like, what do you think? Do you feel like the storm from 2020 has passed, or do you think this is going to fuel that fire? I, for one, hope that he moves on. I think it's, for me, it's kind of a sad indication that, again, if he didn't win in 2020, then and he won in 2024, then that should indicate to me that there's no foul play. But, who knows what people think. And so I'd love to know what you think. Definitely give me a call and let's chit chat about it. Again, I'm not a debater at all. I'm just very interested in having conversation. And I'll reiterate, my first time streaming on Rumble was yesterday, and I felt compelled to come on because, again, like I said before, I've been watching Rumble and sort of dabbling into the more right-wing media spaces, listening to like Steven Crowder and Charlie Kirk and things like that, just to try to understand, why and how people think so differently from myself. And I was watching Kim Iverson, and she said, well, obviously if left-wing people were to just talk to us, they would understand why we've been so upset and why we've been so angry. They would understand why they lost. And so, again, I genuinely want to understand why we lost. So, give me a call. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what your reasonings were for voting for Trump, for, espousing the ideologies that you do. Very interested in that. While we wait, I just kind of do my little LinkedIn puzzles and chit chat about things. So my first one I do is always going to be called Cross Climb because it's my least favorite. It's just silly. It's so easy. Kate Middleton thinks one's teeth into, I'm going to guess, is bite. Toy that flies in the air. Kite. Way to say bye that uses a single repeated syllable. What? A way to say bye that uses a single repeated syllable. Okay, we'll wait on that. Like bye-bye. Postmodern. Normally these are super easy. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Something modern? Museum in London? Wow. Okay. Way to say bye that uses a single repeated syllable. And if you know the answer, feel free to comment and let me know. And again, interrupt me at any time. I'm just passing some time to hold this space open if you'd like to give me a call. And, so we can chit chat about the election, what your thoughts were, if you were happy with the outcome, if you were not happy with the outcome. Very, very curious. Let's see. So way to say bye. Ta-ta, I'm going to guess. Ta-ta. So that would probably go up here, which means something modern, museum in London. I feel like an idiot. I don't know what this is. Let's see. That would have to be a K, A, oh my gosh. I'm going to look it up. Modern Museum, London? Tate? Tate Modern? I've never heard of that. Okay, well, they got me. I guess we got Tata right, so that's good. But damn, never heard. And I live in England, so that's pretty fucking sad. Sorry. All right, a small unit of computerized information, a BYTE, and a term for information in general. Data. Speaking of which, if you're a Star Trek fan like me, Data was that dude. All right. Well done, everybody. That was probably the trickiest cross. Normally they're so simple, so that was a bit tricky. Nice. All right. Well, as we set up our little pinpoint game, I'd love to jump back into some of Trump's claims. And again, I'm here for you. This is your space. If you want to call a leftist, call a liberal, a dirty liberal. Give me a buzz and let me know what your thoughts were about the election, if you were happy, why you chose to vote the way you did. Again, I voted for Kamala Harris. So, yeah, very, very upset, very sad that she lost and lost to the degree that she did. Goddamn. So, yeah, I'm not happy. But if you're happy, that makes me happy. So, give me a buzz and try to make me happy. Let me understand what you're hopeful about and what you're looking forward to with the Trump presidency. Another claim that he has made that I'm interested to see where it goes, if he shifts, if I don't know, if he changes his mind, is on the Project 2025 space, because that is some horrifying shit, y'all. Like, it's horrifying to me as a left-leaning person. It's horrifying to think that not only would there, be a national abortion ban, but everybody who is so dedicated and works in government is at risk of losing their jobs just to be able to have whomever Trump wants installed. It's horrifying to think that the Department of Education, all of our public schools can just be wiped out just like that. To think that the ACA might be taken away from millions of people who need it. I don't want to go back to having to, worry about pre-existing conditions and things like that. The big one for me with Project 2025 is just the fact that we would be in such a religious state, and that's not what our Constitution or our country were founded on. I don't know where that idea came from, that we are a Christian nation. We are not. We are not. Almost all of our founding fathers were anti-theists, and the Constitution specifically talks about the separation of church and state. So I think that's the thing that's a little bit just daunting to think about what's going to happen with. So, is he going to adhere to his claims that he doesn't want anything to do with Project 2025, that it's not his jam, he didn't have anything to do with it and doesn't know about it, and okay, sure. I'm curious to know if that's going to stay true, or if he's going to change his thinking and let the Heritage Foundation take over like they always do. I just did a whole piece on abortion, if you want to check my YouTube channel and check it out. And I looked into some history, and turns out that, the whole pro-life, pro-choice thing didn't even exist until like the late 70s. And the only reason it's an issue is because of basically the Heritage Foundation. Wayrish, the guy who's a co-founder, he is who basically said, hey, churches are starting to have to deal with the ramifications of exhibiting political influence without paying taxes, and we want to keep not paying taxes. So what can we continue to rile up our base over? And that turned out to be abortion. They tried to make it a civil rights thing, but that didn't take. So because they wanted to keep their religious schools and churches segregated. So they latched onto abortion as a topic to keep their base mad and to gain control and regain and keep control over the conservatives, while still keeping their taxes exempt status. So, again, you're only mad if you're pro-life because some people wanted to not have to pay their taxes. It's nuts. So that, but again, that's just me. So when it comes to, again, Project 2025 and the overreach that's already occurred from, the Christian, evangelical Christian sort of influence on the Supreme Court and on Donald Trump and on the Conservative Party, it's just, it's a little horrifying to see where we might go. So if you have thoughts on that, give me a buzz. Right here for you if you want to call a leftist. And again, just chit chat about your thinking. I am hoping it will not only help me feel a little bit better to know that, again, we're not enemies, we're not adversaries. I think underneath it all, we all want the same things. And I think you're a good person if you voted for Trump. I don't think you had, malicious intent. So, I want to talk that through and kind of make sure we can form some bridges to understanding with each other. So give me a buzz. Let me know. I'm right here. Me and Dad. And so, Let's jump into Pinpoint. But again, if you want to chit chat about Project 2025, what? House bath? House? Okay, that's not it, but we'll see. House bath watching. Trying to find a common theme through these words. And feel free to, again, interrupt me at any time. I'm just holding this space. And honestly, if you're one of my regular viewers, feel free to call in too. You don't have to wait on a different opportunity. If you want to talk about your feelings about Harris losing or about where your concerns might be with the country, I'd love to talk to you. House bath watching. House bird. Yeah, bird. There we go. All right, we got that one pretty relatively quickly. Again, that one's normally quite easy too. I like my little puzzles to be a little bit more difficult, but that's not too bad. We'll set up Tango, which is our next little logic puzzle. Again, I just like to knock them out while I'm waiting for people to call in. You're free to interrupt at any point if you want to give me a buzz and chit chat about any of the topics that I have up here in a second. Right here, maybe. Yeah. We're going to talk about any of these. If you want to chit chat about, again, just anything we're talking about today. If you want to talk about matters of sex and sexuality, I just lifted up abortion. If you want to talk about that, yeah, this is your time to call a leftist. And you don't feel like you're going to be in some kind of battle or it's going to be a debate, because I can't debate. I'm not a debater. My mom actually is an English teacher, a high school English teacher, and she's run her school's debate team for years and years and years. So it's kind of sad that I'm actually not a better debater because my mom, she was so good, and she is so good. But yeah, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not confrontational, probably because I grew up in a household with a mom who debated all the goddamn time. So it's not my jam. I'm just in it for the conversation. So if you want to give me a buzz, yeah, we can have a nice chill talk. That's what I'm here for. So yeah, call a leftist today. In the meantime, maybe we can talk about some more of Trump's claims that I am a little concerned about. One of his claims that actually made me quite happy. So you didn't think a leftist would be happy about anything that Trump said, but when he said, "I like IVF. I'm the father of IVF. IVF for everyone," that kind of thing. Okay, I like that kind of talk, because this one was born via IVF. Okay, so I know how expensive that shit is. Okay, so now if Trump wants to honor that and go ahead and pay for everybody's IVF, you might get me to tick over to just one more little tick to the right, maybe just a little bounce. But I hate to say it, I just don't see it. I just don't see it, y'all. I mean, if you think differently, again, give me a call. Let me know what you think. But I mean, the sheer fact that IVF is an elective procedure, it's tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Even with insurance, it's fucking expensive. And also then we don't have like really good paid family leave. We don't really have good maternity leave. We don't have any kind of real protection. So why do anything to help women have more babies and then they're already limiting access to abortion. And if they take it a step further, then why? Where's the need to help women with IVF? Because you're forcing women to have babies by, stopping abortion. And now it sounds like contraception's on the table. So there's going to be babies galore. So why should Trump honor his claim that he will help women with IVF and help families with IVF? I don't see it. But if you disagree, if you think he's going to come through, let me know. Call in. I'd love to know your thoughts and your thinking on the IVF situation. And what's really so sad is that the whole reason that IVF came under fire, especially in light of the abortion bans and things like that, was basically because the abortion bans in some states, like Alabama, they gave embryos like personhood. Okay, so if you're doing IVF, even though you're trying to have a baby, and you're going through the steps and the massive expense to have a baby and to build your family and grow your family, because your embryos that have to be created outside of your womb, and some are frozen, some are destroyed, now have personhood status, which is nuts. That is insane. IVF is under attack. So the very thing that's made for people who want, they want a baby and they're trying to have a baby, cannot have a baby because their little embryos are considered persons. So, doesn't make very much sense to me. But feel free to call in. Let me know if you disagree. If it's something where you feel it's okay for women to not have IVF when they really want it, but be forced to have a baby that they don't really want. Or if you think that Trump is going to actually come through when it comes to paying for IVF for women. I'm saying women, but pregnant people. There's a lot of different types of families that want to grow in that way. So I don't want to be preclusive. But while I wait for you to call and share your thoughts, let's go ahead and do our tango puzzle. Tango is just suns and moons, and you're trying to figure out where everything goes. This looks hard already. I love it. You can only have like 3 of each on each row and each column, and you can't have more than 2 in a row. So keeping those rules in mind, the equal sign means you have to have the same symbol on either side. The X means it's got to be an opposite symbol. So given that, we know that this can't be a sun, because if you had 2 suns, you'd break that rule of, you can't have 2 or more. So those have to be moons. But then when you have 2 in a row, you have to have a sun, because you can't have the same symbol. So that leaves the sun and a moon. So you can't really figure that out just yet. If we look at this equal sign, and then this one, oh, here we go. If we have the equals here, we can't have that be 2 moons. So that has to be suns. Got to be a moon. And now we're in the same situation where if we need a sun and a moon for this column. So it could be either way here. So let's keep looking. We have the equals here. That can't be a sun. It's got to be a moon. That's the sun. The moon. That's no moon. Talk about Star Trek earlier. I love Star Wars too. You guys got a leftist nerd. I hope that's okay. But I'm still here for you. Give me a buzz. and let's chit chat about anything you want. But I'm really, really curious to know about your thoughts on the election, and if you were happy, if you were sad, if so, what you're expecting and looking forward to. We're talking about, just in our in-between time, we're talking about some of the claims that Donald Trump has made, and are they going to hold up in light of his win? So far, we've already talked about Project 2025 and his views on the election of 2020. Is he still going to basically go after people for that, or is he still feeling aggrieved because of that? Yeah. So very curious to know what your thinking is. And if you're one of my usual viewers, you're probably a little bit more along my thinking, and maybe you voted for Kamala Harris too. If you want to call in and let me know how you're feeling. Are you okay? Like, this was a big blow, you guys. This was such a big blow, and it was even worse than 2016 for me, because like we know what he's all about now. Like, we know what he's going to do now, and yet we're going into this with eyes wide open, whereas before, I think we kind of had the luxury of like, oh, well, maybe he will be a good president. Maybe he will do this and do that, and okay. But now it's like, no, we know he won't be. Again, if you disagree, give me a call. Just holding this space for you. If you want to call a leftist and let me know what your thoughts are. If you're happy with the results of the election, if you're not, what your expectations are. We were talking about claims and things that he has made. We've talked about election rigging, Project 2025, IVF. I also am interested to know if his claims regarding shutting down these wars, if it's going to happen. I feel like we heard this before. We heard this in his first term when he said he would stop the war in Afghanistan, and I guess yeah, he did. He set it up so that Biden would have to deal with it. Yeah, he actually talked to the terrorists in charge of the country, brought them to the White House, didn't include the Afghanistan government that we installed, and then used that as a platform to run on. Oh, vote for me again, and I'll make sure we get out of Afghanistan. But you said you were going to do that this time, but you didn't. But okay. So, and then Biden has to like you got to think about it this way: you can't renegotiate with terrorists. People are like, oh, well, once Biden was in office, couldn't he? No. Trump set up the terms of the withdrawal. Biden had to adhere to them. You literally cannot say, hey, terrorists, come back to the table and let's talk about this point and that point, like you got a bad housing inspection and you're trying to renegotiate with the seller or some shit. Like, no, it's terrible. And so, yeah, Afghanistan was terrible. It was an awful, awful withdrawal. Very embarrassing day for our country. Trump is right, but it's his doing. So it sucks that he doesn't get the blame for that. He doesn't get any kind of marks for saying he would end it in his term, which he didn't do. And yet here we're expected to believe that he's going to get the Ukraine war under control and the Israeli-Palestinian war under control. How? How? I heard he talked to Zelensky, and that Zelensky said, he felt a little reassurance, but what else could he say? What else could he say? Excuse me. So we really don't know what's going to happen there. I'm of the mindset that the reason that he didn't end Afghanistan when he did is because it was giving too many people too much money to end. And again, he wanted to hold it as a platform to run on for 2020. So I was thinking at first with Ukraine that, the people who are selling all these weapons and all these missiles and things to them, they're sure not going to want to end this war. So I anticipated that perhaps he would stave it off like he did with Afghanistan. Because, these are money-making machines is what they are. And so I was having a conversation with a friend about it, and we kind of came to the conclusion that, no, he might actually end it in a way that's not beneficial to anybody except for Putin. But then, that still leaves the possibility that, Putin might be needled into yet another conflict that has even more far-reaching implications. Why? To feed that war machine, So, yeah, Trump very well may make some traction with stopping the Ukraine war or helping to stop the Ukraine war, but I just don't think that it's going to be in a way that has any kind of lasting peace, and it's definitely not going to be in a way that is leaving Ukraine in a position to have their sovereignty honored. But again, I'm just blabbing at you. These are just my ramblings and my thoughts. If you have thoughts, give me a call. Call a leftist today. And let's chit chat about anything you want, any of the claims I've talked about. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. This is Day. This is my baby. She's going to be 1 year old in 5 days. Can you believe it? Yeah. Hey, birthday girl. Hi, birthday girl. So, okay. Somebody needs some attention. Okay, you're going to rest on my bosom. There you go. And, hi. Hello. Just kitties. Just kitties. Sorry about that. Oh, you okay? Yeah, so let's do our last LinkedIn puzzle. we can maybe cut it a little short today. Because I'm really surprised no one has called from my Rumble stream. This is day 2 streaming to Rumble, which had me a little nervous, but nobody's called. So, maybe, I don't know, the invitation wasn't real. I feel like everybody that I saw when I was doing my homework and looking at some right-wing media said, how come leftists never talk to us? How come they don't know what's going on because they don't talk to us? Talk to me. Talk to me, people. So if you're on Rumble and you see this, I challenge you to give me a call and let me know why you voted for Donald Trump. Where's the disconnect that you feel, leftists aren't seeing? And, anything you can do to assuage our fears, perhaps, would be so lovely. So lovely. So let me know. But in the meantime, let's knock out our last puzzle, and we can maybe just go for another few minutes. This one seems to be wanting some attention. Hi. Hi, birthday girl. All right, so queens, we'll just knock them out. I really like these puzzles. These are my favorites. Um, oh gosh, that's weird. Hey, baby. Sometimes my mouse will just start floating. I'm like, I guess it's a ghost in the machine or Russia. Who knows? I saw a video today about this guy who like finds these illicit call centers that are scamming people out of money, and he actually like looks up all the information about them, their names, where they physically are, and then like reports them to law enforcement. It seems really cool. Have you guys ever been scammed apart from when you voted for Donald Trump? I'd love to know. Let's see. I love these games, but I'm never that good at them. So let's see. Excuse me. Alrighty. Hi, baby. Baby. Hi, baby. Alrighty, friends. Let's see if I can finish this one. Here we go. And boom. All right. Well, with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a night because it is 3:30 in the morning where I am. I believe baby girl has checked out, and nobody wanted to call me today. I'm really disappointed. I love to chat with somebody on the right about their thoughts and feelings and hopes, and to see if and how we can align them to what maybe the leftist thoughts, feelings, and hopes are. Because I don't think we're, again, I don't think we're enemies. I don't think we're adversaries. I don't want to be treated that way myself. So I wouldn't treat anyone on the right that way, even though, again, I voted for Kamala Harris. I am a very liberal, left-leaning type person. I'm not a Democrat. I'm unaffiliated when it comes to voting, but as far as my political ideology, it's just whatever. But I definitely, I believe in more, I guess, liberal, leftist type views. So I do try to do these just about every day, just to kind of, again, knock out my little puzzles while I wait for people to call in. This is only my second day on Rumble, so maybe, I just keep coming back and see if anybody wants to chit chat. But yeah, if you want to give me a call, I guess maybe tomorrow, because I'll go ahead and wrap up. I think the interest is not there tonight, and that's okay. I'll just try to keep coming back and holding this space open so that, again, if you have questions or thoughts or just want to know, like, hey, how could you possibly vote for Kamala Harris? I'll tell you, because I want to know how could you possibly vote for Donald Trump. So yeah, maybe we can get on the same page together. But that's all right. If we have to wait till tomorrow for that. So thanks for tuning in if you did, and listening to me ramble on if you stuck around. I see we had several viewers, but just no calls today, but that's okay. We will certainly be back soon. Again, I try to do these every day, but tomorrow will then be a school night, so we'll see how it goes. But thanks for tuning in. I'll sign off as I do always. Love one another with permission.